Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day and welcome to the channel. So right here is going to be the newest project that we're going to be doing over the course of probably 3 or 4 different videos. A little over a year ago, I built that cart over there. It's about a 2000 Ezgo TXT. And since then, we've probably put about 700 miles on it. We've had an absolute blast. We take it on quite a few of our trips and we just have a ton of fun with it. So after having that for a year, there's a few things that I would do a little bit differently. Tons of things that I would do just the same that I've absolutely loved. So right here, we're gonna be doing this cart. This is a 2018 Ezgo TXT. So it's got kind of an updated steering system versus what that one has. So it'll be a little bit smoother. And as far as the things that I'm gonna do with this cart that are gonna be similar to the other cart is I am gonna be doing the Navitas 5 kilowatt, 600 amp hour or 600 amp controller upgrade into this cart. Just like in the other one, this will be full lithium. It's already a lithium cart from factory, but right now it's regulated at like 12 miles an hour. We're hoping to get between 35 and 40 miles an hour with it by the end. We'll be doing a full sound system, lights all around, body kit on it. Some of the differences, I'm going to be actually, so one thing I noticed with the other cart is I do have, the accessories and everything do create a decent amount of draw on the battery pack itself. So this one's going to have a separate battery pack for the accessories, the 12 volt accessories on their own. And then I won't need to run any type of 48 volt to 12 volt converters, which will hopefully make the battery packs last a little bit longer on this cart. But I'll take you around and kind of show you what we're starting with, and then we'll start tearing it apart. All right, so the first thing is the difference in steering that I talked about. You've got all your steering, your rack and everything connected to this front support. And on the older model that I have, it's connected up higher. And so what I've noticed with this is you get a little more bump steer. So here on the inside, this does have a little bit of an updated dash, but this is going to get replaced. There's a lot of water spotting, and I do have a different dash to overlay over the top of it. Seat does have a rip in it, but that's getting replaced anyways. On the inside, you have your Samsung, I believe 60 amp hour battery, lithium battery pack. Controller over there, and motor is down there. But that's all going to be coming out also. Other than that, it's just a pretty much stock factory golf course cart. So the first thing I'm going to do with this cart is I'm going to take all the body paneling off, roof, all the supports, all the electronics, everything, get it stripped down all the way to the frame so I can sand off any type of rust there might be, clean everything, repaint the frame itself, and then start rebuilding it from there on up. I'm also going to be upgrading some of the suspension stuff to fit the wheels and tires that I want to run. I do need to have a lift kit on it. We'll be doing disc brakes on the front in addition to the stock back brakes on the back. And as far as taking this whole thing apart, it's actually really easy. It's pretty much just like 30 rivets. You drill them out and the whole body starts to come apart. It takes maybe 30 minutes to an hour to get everything stripped off of this. All right, after about 10 minutes, I've got the seats off, rear roof support, front roof support, obviously the roof, and now we're ready to start drilling out rivets. It's pretty simple. You've got these rivets up here that hold on the front cowl system or section. Then that rivet down there is the bottom part of it. A couple of screws for this little kick panel here. The back has rivets underneath this floor mat, which should come up after I remove the kick panels there. You've got rivets here for the charge port, rivets for the seat mount. There's a couple rivets in the back behind these caps here. And then I think right on the side for this back bumper. Other than that, it's pretty simple. I'll also be using a 3/16 inch drill bit to get pretty much all these rivets off. And then once I do drill out the fronts, I'll pull the rest of the rivet through if it doesn't come through, just so it's all clean. Well, I'd say at most 30 minutes to get this to this point. It's very simple. Most tedious part is just making sure you've disconnected all the wiring for charge port. And if yours has the F&R deal right here in the middle, you've got to remove those plugs. Other than that, it's rivets, a few 10mm bolts, and we're here. So I'm gonna get the controller, the battery out. I'll probably leave the motor in for now, take the dash off, and then get this whole thing pressure washed, and then we can do a little bit of like touch-up paint. But for the most part, it's pretty clean, a lot cleaner than the last card I did. I mean, very minimal rust at all. A little bit of dirt in here kind of built up, but really in pretty good shape. All right, so after about 2.5 hours, this is where we sit. I did get it pressure washed, or I pressure washed it. But body came off really easily, got all the electronics removed, minus the motor. That will be going here fairly soon to go to another cart with all the electronics. But the frame is in really great shape, almost no rust on anything. I will be repainting some of this, especially this front end. Anything that's visible, anything with rust. But really, there's not a whole lot of rust at all. A little bit of wear, but really in great shape. So now what I'm going to be doing, since it's all torn apart and easy to access everything, is I'm going to be installing the 3-inch spindle lift from Jake's on the front end, along with their disc brake kit, just to add to the braking ability, because the stock disc brakes are just not enough for the speeds that this will be going. All right, so it's the next day, and I was able to get quite a bit done yesterday. Over the course of about 2.5 hours, I was able to get to this point where we're at right now. And basically, I was able to get everything stripped down to the frame. The frame is really in great condition, almost no rust at all. I was able to also remove all the electronics and the entire wiring harness, because everything's gonna be getting replaced from this cart. I will be using the electronics in another cart at some point. But this one's gonna have all different stuff moving forward. So next I'm going to be installing the Jake's 3-inch spindle lift kit, along with the Jake's hydraulic disc brake kit for the front end. I've used Jake's on a few of my carts. I've had absolutely no issues with them. I put a lot of miles on the carts at pretty high speeds too. They seem to hold together really well, so I feel pretty confident in using those kits. All right, so it's been a little while since the last clip that I recorded just because I ran into a few issues with this Jake's spindle lift kit, and I thought maybe I just got a bad one, and so I had ordered another one to see if there was any difference, and unfortunately they were both the same. And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So you may be able to see on the video when I was recording that there was a lot of this coating actually on the spindle shaft itself. I had to wire wheel all of that off to get these spindles to slide on, or to get the hubs to slide on. And then on the part where the tie rods and steering all hook in, these holes are way undersized. And when I try to push these in, they won't even get close to going in far enough and seating to where I can even push the cotter pin through. I think it's because there's a bunch of coating inside here that I've tried to scrape out, but it still does not work correctly. Even this bottom one down here, it's not seated in all the way. You can see I'm barely getting any threads. So I did reach out to Jake's to see if maybe there was just an issue with mine or what the deal was, and they did say to go ahead and send everything back. I shouldn't have an issue like this, but both kits that I had were identical. They were both undersized for the steering components, and they both had coating all over the shaft itself. So to me, I've installed multiple Jake's kits in the past, and I've never had an issue at all. Quality's always been great on them. And this, it just feels like their coating, they decided to dip the parts without taping anything off. And so I guess it's up to me to make them work once I receive them. I really don't want to pull everything off to send it back to get it later on, and then I have a cart that can't move. So I'm just going to deal with this. Also, as far as the disc brake kit goes, I was missing a ton of components, basically all of the mounting plates and hardware. And so they sent me them, but I'm still missing the screws that mount the rotor itself to the spindle. So I'm still waiting on a few things, but I'll hopefully have that pretty soon. Basically where the cart sits right now, we do have the lift installed for the most part, just the steering is not hooked up yet. All new suspension. I did rivet this new dash on. It's not the same dash as what came with this cart. It's an older factory dash, but brand new, and I am going to be putting a different dash over the top of that, so it really doesn't matter. Everything's been painted. All the electrical and everything has been stripped. The only thing left to do on the rear end is, because of this lift, these brake lines are now going to be in the way. So I have to pull each brake assembly off and just switch it to the other side just to clearance it, so that brake will now attach on the bottom part of the assembly, not the top. So that's going to pretty much wrap up this video. In the next video, I'm going to be installing the battery pack that I got for this cart, along with the 12-volt battery that I have for it to run all the accessories. I just got those batteries this week, and I have a lot of wiring and electrical to do. So that's going to be in the next video, and if I can get to it, then I'll start putting the body on also. But I did decide to go with a 72-volt system on this cart, so it's going to be pretty fast. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you next time.